Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, but this is BearJet 755. You know, the topic today is getting started, and the reason I wanted to talk about that is because I believe it is such an enormous challenge for so many people. What we do is we want to do something, yet we don't ever get started. Why is that? What is the reason that we don't move forward? What's the reason you don't move forward with the projects you have around the house, with the business you wanted to get started, with that diet you always wanted to go on, with that new subject matter you wanted to learn? What is it that's keeping you from moving forward? So let's talk about that today. But before we do, in the comment section below, I challenge you to write in what it is that is your greatest challenge to getting started. Maybe it's just a full life. Maybe that's all it is. But when we're done today, I think you're going to see how we can get past some of those hurdles. So what I want to do is identify what some of the major challenges are that we go through. And when we identify things, I believe that is how we can then get ourselves past those things. And we no longer see them as challenges and hurdles because we can see it for truly what it is. So the first thing I want to talk about is the big one. The excuse makers. So many of you make excuses for why you can't get started. And I'm going to tell you today, right now, I'm here to say they are simply just excuses. Every obstacle in front of us is something that we place there. That's that wall that we place there ourselves. And we are making an excuse. We are building that wall by ourselves. It's invisible. It really doesn't exist except between the 4 inches between this ear and this ear. And we've got to make sure that we get this straight so that we can go this way. So excuse makers, what do they say? Well, I'm not sure how to get started. I really don't know enough about how to get started on this project that I want to get started on, or I'm not sure where I should take a course or how to build my website. I really don't know how to do that. So therefore, I can't get started. That's the problem. I don't know how. Or I'm too busy. I've got so many things going on in my life, and I just can't seem to find the time to do the things that I need to do to get started. Or how about, I don't have the resources, I don't have the money, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the kind of house where I'd be able to do a project like that. I don't have the time because of the things that my family is involved with and the location that I live in. I'm too far away. Guys, listen, hear me now. These are all excuses, every one of them. If you're not sure how, find out how. If you don't think you have the resources, guess again. You actually do. Instead of looking at what you don't have, look at what you do have. It's a totally different mindset. It's in between here and here, every bit of it. Don't look at what you don't have, look at what you do have. Don't talk about how busy you are when you have time to get on Facebook, you have time to watch TV shows, you have time to stop at the convenience store on the way home. You have time for certain things in life that we want to do. If you really wanted to move forward, you could make the time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. And I'm sure you have met people who, they make you wonder, how in the world do they get done all of the things that they do on a daily basis? How do they do it? They've got the same 24 hours in a day as you. They've got the same 24 hours in a day as me, yet they get it done. Why? Because they manage their time really, really well. And if you are running out of time, watch last week's video about how to get some of that time back, and that will be a big help to you. So if you're not sure how and you don't have the resources, get the resources. You know, there's no excuse any longer. There really isn't. The internet has allowed you to gather any resource you need, has allowed you to gather any bit of information you need. It's all there for the taking. Videos, articles, blogs, it's all there. Go to the library and rent a book. Ask somebody. Ask somebody. There are ways that you can find out how to get started. Those are all excuses. So the excuse makers, we're done with you. You're gone. We've got you out of the way. Next, people who self-sabotage. Wow, there are a lot of you guys out there. A lot of you like to self-sabotage. Here's the biggest way we do that. The biggest way we sabotage ourselves is we blame it on other people. I couldn't get started because my child needs braces. I couldn't get started on my exercise program because, well, I'm overweight. And I've got to wait to get the doctor's approval, and I can't get an appointment for 4 months. And by then the summer will be over. You see what I'm getting at? It's an excuse. If the doctor doesn't have an appointment, get a different doctor who does. Don't make excuses. Get done what you need to get done. Don't lay blame on other people. When things go wrong, that's 2 videos ago. When things go wrong, who do you blame? Yourself. When things go right, who do you blame? Yourself. Who is in control? Who do you want to have be in control? I hope the answer is you, because if you are not in control, someone else is driving your car and they're going to crash it into the wall. The other people who self-sabotage, the people who need to know everything. They need to know how everything's going to work. Guys, you don't know how everything's going to work. When you were born, did you know how everything was going to work? If you needed to, you would have never been born, right? It just doesn't work that way. We find out things as we go. I'll quote one of my favorite quotes and one of my favorite people of all time, Les Brown. This is a powerful quote if you really pay attention to what it means and dissect it and apply it to yourself. He says, the how is none of your business. The how is none of your business. What that means is to go and aim at what it is you want. Aim at the vision you have. The path you take, you can get the direction, but the path you take is going to be curvy and wavy. You're not going to be able to know all of those things that happen along the way and all of the things you need to do and all of the events that will occur. The how is none of your business. In fact, the how is part of the fun of it. So don't worry about needing to know every detail. The control freaks, they kind of go along with those people who need to know every detail, but the control freaks, they want to know the outcome is guaranteed before they get started. Guys, there is nothing in this life guaranteed except at some point we are all going to expire. That is the only thing in life that's guaranteed. You know it and I know it. So if you don't get off your butt and start doing it because you're sitting there saying, I've got to know the end result, by the time you figure out what the end result is, you're going to be 6 feet underground. Control freaks, we're done with you. We're done with the self-sabotages. We fixed it, right? We're fixed, right? We can all move forward. Here's the last one. The impatient people. That was me. The impatient people. That's why I saved it for last. I needed to get started on step 10 before I was on step 1. I was running. I wanted to skip over all these things. I wanted to hop over all the steps. When I went up the stairs as a kid, I always jumped 2, 3 steps at a time. I needed to get to the top faster. When I go shopping, I carry all the bags into the house at once because I don't want to make 2 trips. I want to get it all done at once. I'm the impatient guy. I need it right now. It's our fast food society, right? We're all about fast food. We go in, we drive out, we're done. Guys, if you want to be successful, if you want to be that person who has lasting success, you need to be patient. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to be patient with the learning process. You need to be patient with the process, period. No one ever gained 100 pounds, as an example, in a week. So you can't expect to lose 100 pounds in a week. Very few people go into deep financial debt in a week. Yeah, I know it can happen with certain things, but guaranteed that the seeds for that were set a long time ago, okay? So it didn't happen, it looked like it happened overnight, but it didn't. The seeds were set for that and planted a long time ago. Very few people became wealthy or famous overnight. That all happened over time, slowly but surely. And I want you to vision, for you impatient people out there, those of you who are just like me, I want you to envision a ladder against a tall building. You're not afraid of heights, okay? Forget about that. You're not afraid of heights. A ladder, and if you want to climb up to the top of that building, especially the higher you go, you're higher, right? So you're taking one rung at a time. One rung. one rung. Well, what if we took away every other rung? First of all, the ladder becomes less stable. That's number one. Number two, the steps are harder to accomplish. You've got to take bigger steps to get there. What if we took out every second and third rung? So every three, there's only one, right? Took out two at a time? You get what I'm saying. What happens then? The ladder is even less stable. It can't support itself as well. The structure is weaker and it's harder to climb. We need to take one step at a time. You know, we've all heard that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles is started with the first step, right? We know that. We all know that. That's cliche. We know, we've all heard it. So what we want to do is really talk about what's keeping us from taking that first step. We all know that, right? We all know what to do, that we've got to take a first step, but what's holding us back? I hope today's video really put into focus what we're doing, what you're doing to hold yourself back, to keep yourself from being successful, and no matter what it is that you want to do. So figure out which one of these things apply to you, and let's get started. Take that first step. I know this is a little bit long today, but I want to end with this story because this story epitomizes this whole deal. This is something I did many years ago because I knew I needed to get started on a project. And the only way to get started on that project was to force myself. It was when I was a high school band director and I was remodeling my office. One of my students said he was going to stop by that day and asked if I needed any help. And I said, sure, I could use a little bit of help. Little did he know what he had in store. He had a week-long project in store. I didn't know it was going to be a week-long project either, but here's what I did. We were remodeling the office, so what I did was I got to the wall and I ripped off the paneling, one sheet of paneling from the wall, and I threw it out into the courtyard. And as soon as I did that, I had to finish the job. You get it? I forced myself into getting this job done because I got it started. And I couldn't leave the office in that type of disarray. And I hope you all feel the same way about yourself. You can't leave your life in disarray. Get started and move forward. And then in a few days' time, we had the office looking awesome and amazing with new paneling, new walls, new everything. And we really did it up nice. It was beautiful. And buddy John, you may be watching this video today. Thank you so much. That was an awesome time. You probably remembered. I'm sure you do. He was walking up the drive when the paneling came flying out the door. It was pretty funny. But anyhow, guys, get started. Get yourself started. Whatever it is that's holding you back, push it out of the way. Get it out of the way right now and get yourself started. That's my message for today. Remember the challenge below. Write down what it is that's holding you back. And then in a few days, write down your results. Great? Yes. Let's take that challenge. Thanks for joining us today. Remember, motivation is like bathing. That's why we need to do both daily. This is Bear Janian saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Have a greater day, everyone.